Today I'm asking the question if Battlebit Remastered is about to die already. The reason I'm throwing out that question in the beginning of this video is because I haven't been playing the game recently, but when I got back into the game again a few days ago, I realized that the huge amount of players that were playing Battlebit Remastered some weeks ago are no longer in the game. So I thought we'd take a look into how bad it actually is and why it is happening now. Let's get into the numbers first in order to see what has happened recently. Battlebit Remastered was released on Thursday, June 15 this year. Only a week after release, the game reached an all-time high with more than 87,000 players. It is important to know that the game reached good numbers even before the Steam release, getting a recognition in the community as a good upcoming game. So this Battlefield-like indie shooter did take off, a game that is created by only 2 or 3 persons, and a lot of bigger YouTubers and streamers played the game and gave it a boost as well by doing so. The question though is always, will it last, and if so, for how long? Because from the beginning of July, Battlebit has lost thousands of players a day, so if we fast forward until today's date, we can see that there's around 7k plus players being live playing the game. Now that's a huge drop only about 3 months after release. The question, at least for me, is why that's the case and also what to do about it. I believe there's a few reasons altogether that are causing this drop when it comes to player count. One of the simple reasons might be that the big hype around Battlebit has now calmed down or even passed, so the game is now getting to a point where it might have been from the start if Battlebit wouldn't have gotten this boost that we've seen initially. Meaning, in a few weeks from now, we'll see the stat that most likely reflect the future of this game a bit better, since then the core players and community are the ones that are left playing the game. Is that bad, you might ask? Well, not necessarily, since many games do drop players weeks or end 2-3 months after release. The huge drop we're seeing here though is once more due to hype that got created around the game, which helped out a lot when it comes to people buying the game. But there might be other reasons also, of course, why the player count is dropping quite some at the moment. Battlebit, in my opinion, has a bit of a problem when it comes to balance, but also the overall game direction. For me, it sometimes feels as if the developers haven't really decided if Battlebit is supposed to be a more tactical shooter instead of a more casual, like Battlefield-like shooter kind of experience. And the weapon balance, when I come back now, is still a bit of a problem in Battlebit. Some weapons categories, such as the SMGs, feels overpowered and make the rest of the weapons almost pointless to use to a certain degree. Well, the SMGs can still melt even from a distance, which feels kinda wrong in a game like this, since this is where ARs and LMGs, DMRs and snipers should be more dominant compared to an SMG. The classes in the game are also suffering from unbalances, even they've looked into this a bit at least, so the classes probably could need even more focus for the future. Another reason is of course new games coming out, making some players that are playing Battlebit, less interested, or maybe they choose to play another game for some time. But players also abandon a game if there aren't regular updates, fixes, and furthermore new content added into the game. I've also heard that people are complaining about cheaters in Battlebit, and if that's the case, then the anti-cheat system maybe needs some further work. One thing that was implemented into the game recently was the custom server feature. Now, this is of course per se not a bad thing, most likely a feature that has been wanted by many players. The problem though here is the timing, since a lot of custom servers tend to become half empty now when the player count has gone down quite some, making the gaming experience on some of these servers a bit empty, you might say, since we're talking about a game and maps that are designed for the bigger scale battles. Feel free to fill in here when it comes to the reasons why the player count are dropping this hard. What do you think? A healthy player base, meaning a variety of players, is also important since it gives a variety of experiences when it comes to the gameplay. If too many, for example, casual players are leaving the game, there's always a risk that there's mostly tryhards or veterans left in the game. And I've seen this happening before in many games. Don't get me wrong, the core players and veterans are important, an important base of players you might say, but so are the casuals and newbies as well, the mix of them all. The The huge drop of players is a fact, but the question is, will it be possible to stop the bleed somewhat and maybe even gain some players again? Or is Battlebit slowly dying, meaning continuing to lose even more players? I believe, as I mentioned earlier, that the player base of Battlebit is about to stabilize soon, reaching some still decent numbers, you might say, especially considering that it is after all an indie shooter. I therefore don't think that players need to stress out too much and can continue to enjoy and have fun playing Battlebit Remastered. I'm saying this because I do believe that's the case, but also I have to admit that it's something I hope will be the case as well. Again, I would like to hear from you what you think about this matter and if Battlebit will be able to survive as a game and maybe even get some players back into the action once more. Let me know down in the comments. So with that said, we have reached an end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give a like, and as mentioned, your comments are appreciated. I read them and I try to answer. And if you enjoy this kind of FPS content, make sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out when I post another video. So talk to you soon again. Have a great day now. Later.
Bro, that was easy.